is environmental laws based on 1987 Constitution. The 1987 Constitution spells out our national policy on the protection of environmental in a lot of ways. The present provisions in our fundamental law are more forward-looking than our 1973 and 1935 Constitution. Next slide. Environmental law is still at its cradle years in our country. Although the embryo or environmentalism has long been implanted into our consciousness by our indigenous customs and traditions, it has not, until recently, been translated into a body of coherent national policies and legal principles. The gradual growth of environmental law in the country may be attributed to the fact that for most part of our existence as a nation, activities inimical to the environmental were minimized. So, the environmental law based on 1987 Constitution. So, the primary legal basis for this environmental protection may be found in the 1987 Constitution. Article 2, Section 16 provides that the state shall protect and advance the right of the people to a balanced and a healthful ecology in accordance with the rhythm and harmony of the nature. So, based sa presentation, the environmental law based on 1987 is maun mga balaod nga gina-implement para maprotektahan ang ato environment sa mga klase-klase na pagguba about niini. So in every law nga gina-provide nila or gina-implement nila is mauna ang kanang mga law nga dili nato angay i-violate tungod ana kay kana nga law nagatabang na sa ato para ra po na sa tong environment. That's all.
So natay tulo ka RAs. Ang una is ang reduce. The logic behind it is simple to understand. If there's less waste, then there's less to recycle or reuse. The process of reducing begins with an examination of what you're using and what it is used for. So, bot pasabot, gamayon ang atong basura instead nga atong ilabay, pwede nato i-reuse o i-recycle. Sa atoa karon gamay na kaayo ang dili ma-recycle. Kasagara pwede na ma-reuse or ma-recycle. So, para makagamay, maghimo og pamaagi para ma-reduce ang mga butang. For example, karon nga panahon kung magpalit sa tindahan, instead nga isulod sa silupin, isulod na lang sa mga ikubag o bolsita ang atong pamaliton para dani ngawi or pamaagi makareduce taa. The second R is reuse. You may have a box of things you keep that are broken or that you don't have a use for, that you hang on to in case you find another use for them. So, kung mingon tag reuse, ang katong mga gamit nga dili na nato gamiton, like sa atong mga hinubuan, katong mga sinina nato nga dili na nato gamiton, or ang lain baka nga mga material, instead nga atong ilabay, pwede nato ihatag sa uban or pwede nato i-donate, like sa sinina nga pwede nato i-donate sa laing tao para pod mapuslan, or katong tao sad nga katong nanginahanglan. So, ang ikatulo is ang recycling. To recycle something means that it will transform again into a raw material that can be shaped into a new item. There are very few materials on earth that cannot be recycled. So, ang recycle is katong ginamitan like sa bottle, sa plastic, and other nga mga butang. Pwede na to siya gamiton, which is pwede ta mag-invent or mangitag paagi kay pwede sa tuwa makagin o kwarta, labi na sa atong panahon karon nga daghan ta pwede magamitan. And that's all. Thank you.
RE 9003 or what we call the Ecological Waste Management Act of 2000. So, sa Ecological Waste Management, na siya prohibited acts and penalties. So, number 1 is littering, throwing, dumping of waste matters in public places such as roads, sidewalks, canals, or etc. Ang penalty niya dani is fine of not less than 300 pesos but not more than 1,000 and community service of not less than 1 day but not more than 10 days. So, mao na siya ang penalties sa katong prohibited acts. So, ang number 2 is ang undertaking activities or operating, collecting, or transporting equipment in violation of sanitation operation and other requirements or permits set forth in established pursuant. So, ang fine na ni of not less than 300 pesos but not more than 1,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 1 day but not more than 15 days. So, ang number 3 is ang the open burning of solid waste, kanang pagsunog-sunog or kanang pagsunog sa mga basura bitaw. So, ang fine there is not less than 300 pesos but not more than 1,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 1 day but not more than 15 days. So, ang number 4 nga prohibited acts and penalties is causing or permitting the collection of non-segregated or unsorted waste. So, ang iyang penalties is fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but more than 3,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 15 days but not more than 6 months. So, ang number 5 prohibited act is ang squitting in open dams and landfills. So, ang penalties niya is ang fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but more than 3,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 15 days but not more than 6 months. So, ang number 6 prohibited acts and penalties is areas fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but more than 3,000 pesos. Ang number 6, ang iyang prohibited acts is ang open dumping, burying of biodegradable or non-biodegradable materials in flood of or prone imprisonment of not less than 15 days but not more than 6 months. Ang number 7 nga prohibited acts and penalties is ang unauthorized removal of recyclable materials intended for collection by unauthorized persons. Ang iyang penalties is not less than 1,000 pesos but more than 3,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 15 days but not more than 6 months. So, ang number 8 nga prohibited acts is ang Number 8 prohibited acts ang the mixing of source-separated recyclable materials with other solid waste collection or disposal. Ang iyang penalties is fine 500,000 pesos plus an amount of not less than 5% but not more than 10% of his net annual income during the previous years. So, ang number 9 nga prohibited acts and penalties is establishment or operation of open dams as enjoined in this act or closure of said dams in violation of Section 36 and a fine 500,000 pesos plus an amount of not less than 5% but more than 10% of his net annual income during the previous years. So, ang number 10 is manufacture, distribution, or use of non-environmentally acceptable packaging material. Ang iyang penalties is fine 500,000 pesos plus an amount of not less than 5% but not more than 10% of his net annual income during the previous years. So, number 11 is ang importation of consumer products packaged in Number 11, importation of consumer products packaged in non-environmentally acceptable materials. Ang iyang penalties is ang fine 500,000 pesos plus an amount of not less than 5% but not more than 10% of his net annual income during the previous years. Number 12 is ang importation of toxic waste misrepresented as recyclable or with recyclable content. Ang iyang penalties is fine of not less than 10,000 pesos but not more than 200,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 30 days but not more than 3 years. Number 13 is ang transportation and dump log in bulk of collected domestic, industrial, commercial, and institutional waste in areas other than centers or facilities prescribed under this act. Ang penalties is fine of not less than 10,000 pesos but not more than 200,000 pesos or imprisonment of not less than 30 days but not more than 3 years. Number 14 prohibited acts and penalties is ang Sites preparation, construction, expansion, or operation of waste management facilities without an environmental compliance certificate required pursuant to Presidential Decree number 5886 and this act are not conforming with the land use plan of the LGU. Ang iyang penalties is fine of not less than 100,000 pesos but not more than 1 million pesos or imprisonment of not less than 1 year but not more than 6 years. Number 15, prohibited acts under ecological waste management is ang the construction of any establishment within 200 meters from open dams or controlled dams or sanitary landfill. And ang penalties is a fine of not less than 100,000 pesos but not more than 1 million pesos or imprisonment of not less than 1 year but not more than 6 years. The last prohibited acts and penalties is ang the construction or operation of landfill or any waste disposal facility or any aquifer, groundwater reservoir or watershed area or any portions thereof. And ang penalty, fine of not less than 100,000 pesos but not more than 1 million pesos or imprisonment of not less than 1 year but not more than 6 years. That's all.
The National Solid Waste Management Commission are composed of 14 members from the government sector and 3 members from the private sector. So, the purpose of National Solid Waste Management is kung sa baga, ang mga tunong sa National Solid Waste Management Commission is the reducing and eliminating adverse impacts of waste materials on human health and the environment to support economic development and superior quality of life. This is to be done in the most efficient manner possible to keep costs low and prevent waste build-up. So, ang Solid Waste Management Commission is ginakuan niya kanang, for example, is kanang para ma-prevent ang mga waste build up. For example, is katong mga basura nga dili siya madaghan or maanam-anam nga makalat-kalat siya sa daplin-daplin, in which kanang ma-build up siya, in which is mabutang siya sa insakto nga butanganan. There are 6 functional components of the waste management system as outlined below. Number 1 is waste generation. This encompasses any activities involved in identifying materials that are no longer usable and are either gathered for systematic disposal or thrown away. So, waste generation is morning katong kanang mga butang nga dili na siya magamit, which is katong gipang labay na, so kini siya pwede ni siya gamiton nga kanang i-recycle nato. Next one is on-site handling, storage and processing. This relates to activities at the point of waste generation which facilitate easier collection. For example, waste bins are placed at sites that generate sufficient waste. So, mao ni siya ang katong mga kanang gipang butang sa mga daplin dalan, for example, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Third one is waste collection. A crucial phase of waste management. This includes activities such as placing waste collection bins, collecting waste from those bins, and accumulating trash in the location where the collection vehicles are emptied. Although the collection phase involves transportation, this is typically not the main storage of waste transportation. So, ang waste collection is mao ni siya ang ginatawag na taga-barangay or within the city. Katong naiga-collect nga mga sakyanan nang i-collect nila ang malata o dili malata. And the next one is the waste transfer and transport. These are the activities involved in moving waste from the local waste collection locations to the regional waste disposal site in large waste transport vehicles. So, like sa akong giingon gaina nga, mao ni siya ang i-transfer and transport nga mga basura, which is the waste disposal site. The next one is waste processing and recovery. This refers to the facilities, equipment, and techniques employed to recover reusable or recyclable materials from the waste stream and to improve the effectiveness of other functional elements of waste management. So, waste processing and recovery. So, mao ni siya ang katong mga basura nga, for example is kasagara gyud nato nga ginagamit for recyclable is katog yung mga dili malata, for example mga plastics, which is i-recycle nato, i-turn nato nga pwede pa nato siya magamit sa atoang balay or pwede nato mabaligya sa uban. And the last one is disposal. The final storage of waste management. It involves the activities aimed at the systematic disposal of waste materials in locations such as landfills or waste-to-energy facilities. So, disposal. So, as we kanang kailangan din nato nga i-dispose ibutang din nato sa insakto nga butanganan ng atong mga waste kay kanang aron nga maprotektahan nato ang atong surroundings or mapalayo ta sa mga sakit.
PNP Master Plan Sangyaman Goals and Objective. Number 1. LOI 39-2001. Sandigan Master Plan, Anti-Criminality Master Plan, date 03 December 2001. This plan shall serve as the master plan in which all plans and programs of the PNP shall conform with and supplement. It shall prescribe the grand strategy to be undertaken by PNP officers and personnel on crime prevention, control, and suppression in the total fight against all forces in criminality. Ang pasabot dani sa PNP Master Plan sa Nyaman Goals and ilang goals and objectives is sa December 3, 2021. Muni ang kini nga plano magsilbi nga master plan kung asa ang tanang mga plano ug programa sa PNP kinahanglang musabay o madugangan. Kinahanglang itakda kini ang dakong estratehiya nga himuon sa mga opisina sa PNP ug mga personnel sa pagpugong, pagkontrol o pagsugpo sa krimen. Sa kinatibukang pakigbatok sa tanang puwersa sa mga kriminalidad. That's all. So, ang last is ang interesting topic nga nasa Philippine Environmental Law, which is ang Republic Act number 9275, Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004. The Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004, Republic Act RA number 9275, title an act providing for a comprehensive water quality management and for the other purposes, also known as the Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004, was signed by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo on March 22, 2004. So, ang pagkainlo sa tubig is importante kaayo sa dagat o sa mga kasupaan. Kaya diya tagakuha sa mga pagkaon like isda, so diya sa taga kangaligo. So, importante kay siya kay naiuban sa atong nga galabay sa sapa sa mga basura. So, asa man na padulong ang hugaw dito sa dagat. Nasa duban nga ang mga gases ipanglabay dito sa dagat. So, pwede siya makadaot Importante kaayong kahinluon sa tubig kay unsaon na lang paghugaw nga diha ta agakuha sa sudanon. So mo ni siya ang interesting kaayo nga topic sa Philippine Environmental Laws. So that's all. Thank you.
I am Christine Palak from Block A, Criminology.
Alma Pinalandang from Block A.
I am Gomez Christine from Block B.
I am Gallagher Jennifer from Block B.
And that's all. Thank you.